Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel for another weekly episode on finding our happy. And what better way to find our happy than to talk about life is not meant to be felt as suffering. So today's episode is going to be all about how life is meant not to be in the state of suffering. We are not meant to suffer. How do we live a life, quote unquote, suffer free? How do we live our best version of self? How do we get to our happily ever after? We're going to be talking all about that in this episode. And I do want to start by sharing that I was once also a version of myself that didn't know life outside of suffering, and I didn't realize that there are other ways of living it that would feel more in alignment with joy, gratitude, fulfillment, power, choice. So as I'm going through my clinical counseling designation, today's topic in human development was all about that and how indeed we as children are so influenced by so many ecosystems that exist outside of ourselves. Your immediate ecosystem within your own family dynamics. Where are your parents able to provide you with the 4 S's: to be safe, to be seen, to be secure, and to be soothed? Family dynamics within the order of offsprings. The first child versus second versus third versus fourth will have a different experience than the rest of their siblings. Dr. Gabor Mate talks a lot about that. And then you have your immediate ecosystem that's around you, and then you tap into other ecosystems that are on your outside. Family dynamics outside of your own immediate family, your school environment, your teachers. Then you go on to become an adolescent and you perhaps have a job. How was your manager relating to you? There's so many ecosystems, and if you wanted to do a little bit more looking into that, I'm actually going to share my screen here about the bioecological approach to human development as proposed by Braun Femberner. It is a little bit of a smorgasbord, but you can see over here in this diagram, it starts with the inner child and then it expands in all the other various ecosystems. And feel free to pause that, because I actually did pause that while I was learning about this today. And I really took note in what was going on in the inner child's individual circle. That's the first ecosystem. And our teacher did say that we actually do not have a lot of control over what is taking place in our childhood. And she was completely right and is completely right. This idea that a classmate brought up, that we are born perfect, I truly believe that to be true. We are born with a notion that there's nothing wrong with us. Therefore, essentially, we are perfect. We are born with this notion that we are good enough and that we are meant to experience life limitless. But because of our upbringing and the society and many other factors around us, even depending on what socioeconomic era were you born into, or what part of the world do you live in, what is your culture like, there's so many different variables that essentially shape that childhood that is outside of our control. And we do become a product of our environment as adults, and a lot of that can be felt as then suffering, because we may develop core beliefs that are not in alignment of what we should be feeling, such as I am worthy, I am enough, I am lovable. A lot of us acquire beliefs such as I'm not worthy, I'm not lovable, I'm not enough, I am defective, I am bound to be rejected, I'm bound to be alone. There are so many ways of experience life that then will recapitulate as adults those state of beings in situations with our lovers or other family members, or maybe relationships in the workforce. And that is there just purely as a mirror to show us what needs to be healed from our childhood ecosystems that were predominantly shaping our nervous system. So, in essence, we are always in power. We might not be in power when we are children, although I do have this belief due to my spiritual awakening and many books that I've read by Dr. Brian Weiss, even by Dr. Deepak Chopra. I do believe in this notion that nothing is ever given to us that we cannot handle or control, and that we pick our lessons in this beautiful thing called life. And I do believe that we pick who we're going to experience these lessons with, and we create things such as soul contracts. Therefore, even though it might seem that even as children we are powerless, we are actually quite powerful in the sense that we have agreed to enter into the soul contracts. And yes, I know this topic might not be as apparent, or I don't want to say believable by some, because I had no awareness of what it truly meant to be a human, having a human experience based on the teachings and the religion that I had before I discovered that energy that makes up our soul is eternal, never ending. It keeps recycling itself. But I, as a scientist, I do know that energy is neither created or destroyed. It transmutes and transforms, but it cannot just die. So that makes sense to me. Like, I can factualize that to be a truth that I can have tangible evidence and believe in. That I do believe in Newton's laws of energy, that energy cannot be created or destroyed. Therefore, the energy that makes me, Anna, like my soul, that energy cannot be created or destroyed. Therefore, when it leaves this body, because this body will deteriorate and die, because my heart will stop beating at some point just due to old age or whatever else, like, might be, I don't know if it's going to be an accident or old age. Like, I'm hoping that it's going to be, I trust that it's going to be old age, and it's not going to be any other way of having my physical body like essentially stop functioning. But I do understand the concept that the energy that makes me is going to be transmuting. Therefore, it makes it more believable to me that we do reincarnate, and we do pick and choose our life lessons and who we want to experience these life lessons with. Therefore, continues to give me power. So now, instead of being a victim to what happened to me in my prior life, now I feel that I'm always in control, and I'm no longer a victim. I am actually someone who has, full power and control of what is going to unfold. But again, it's really easy to fall back into victim role and or mentality of like, why is this happening to me? What is the point of this? And like, literally, the point of it is to heal whatever we chose to experience as children in our childhood years, maybe perhaps not our adolescent years. There's many different ways to learn as a human being. But the point is that each and every one of us will have their own set of experiences to overcome and lessons to learn, depending on what we thought we were capable of carrying in this particular lifetime. So for one person, it might be one, for another person, it might be 10. There is the early childhood adverse evaluation test that one can also take as an adult if they want to see what the starting point is of how many, I guess for lack of better words, lessons they decided to bring forth into this life. It is scored out of 10. And there are things such as suicide within your immediate family. There are things such as abuse, whether it's sexual or emotional, physical, incarceration within your family, alcoholism within your family. There's so many different ways that one child can have quite adverse effects that will shape their adult self into one that is more aligned to experiencing life from the suffering perspective rather than the joyful perspective. But we can change it. That is our superpower as adults. And that's actually the power of therapy. Because once you understand what the childhood ecosystems were that shaped your current unhelpful beliefs that allow you to still experience life in the state of suffering, because if you acquired the belief that you're unlovable or that you are trapped, you're going to continue to find yourself in situations where that belief is perpetuated. So of course life is going to feel like you're suffering. It's not going to feel good because you are repeating childhood patterns. And once we are aware of these patterns, then we can break them. So we can experience life in other ways. It just takes a little bit of work, just in the same way that it took work to create the version of adult self that you are today. It's just going to take a little bit of work to create a different version of self, but you have a choice to do that every single moment of every single day that you are alive. And how do we do that? We can do that via affirmations, via increasing our self-love. We pay attention to our negative thoughts and we reaffirm those into positive thoughts. A really great place to start actually is looking at what your core beliefs are, and if you can recognize what unhelpful core beliefs are running your nervous system, your hard drive, then you can use affirmations to create new neurological pathways that send new messages to your nervous system, and you can start that way. Then we can incorporate meditation to allow us to be more mindful and be connected to our body, because our body gives us a lot of information about many things that are taking place through our thoughts because of our autonomic nervous system being 95% automatic and subconscious. A lot of the times we don't even know what the core beliefs are that are driving our thought patterns, that are driving our emotions, that are driving our behaviors. We don't know what those are because we're so used to just living that out subconsciously and automatic and autonomic every day. Our body will often signal to us that something is not right, and that usually comes in the form of pain or dis-ease. So pay attention to what your body is saying, because it can give a lot of messages. Like for me, I had a lot of digestive issues, a lot of bloating, and then I did a section on somatic therapy while I was getting my wellness counseling degree, and the body truly does keep the score. childhood experiences that we have, stored trauma, if that energy is not released, it will accumulate in your body and it will cause blockages and it will cause ailments that show up later on, with the intention for us to essentially understand where that blockage came from in the beginning and release it. So for me, it was a lot of guilt and shame that was accumulated in my childhood that still lives in my body. But the wild thing is that I wouldn't be able to know that that still lived there, if my body was not showing that to me via pain, or me having the same life experiences that would perpetuate that same core belief that created the guilt and the shame that I'm a bad person, right? Like I thought that I was a bad kid because I was always in trouble. So I am bad. That was one core belief that lived in my second chakra. That's your sense of self. So that was one way of having it be signaled to me that something's not right here. This is not serving you, because there was no other way for me to understand. So now, instead of asking the question, why is this happening to me, when I would find myself in situations where I would perpetuate that belief that I'm a bad person, much like other beliefs, like I'm unlovable, or I'm bound to be rejected, I'm bound to be abandoned, all these things, I understood that I was calling things in simply to reverse that. And how did I reverse that? Well, through affirmations, affirming I am a good person, I am worthy of it. Writing out gratitude for myself religiously for minimum 21 days, things that I'm so grateful for about myself, and the reason why, just to make sure that I anchor that in, the why. So grateful for myself because I can, whatever, I don't want to I'm grateful for myself for, being able to be open to ideas and not stay in victim mentality. Because why? Because that will enable me to be in full power and control of my own sense of self and how I feel about myself in relation to my life. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And so forth. Or I'm so grateful for me that that I can sit down and read a book from cover to cover, because that gives me more knowledge and insight into things that I may have not known before. And with knowledge comes power. And again, I can have power over my own life and not other people anymore. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All of these sort of things. And then of course I have incorporated a little bit of breath work just to release some extra stored trauma that was situated in my lower two chakras. And if anyone is not familiar with chakras, they're actually just energetic points in our body that reflect, I guess, a certain set of core beliefs. And then if those core beliefs are not in alignment with who we should believe to be, we should believe to be I am unlovable. We should believe to be I am lovable, I am worthy. All these beliefs should be stored energy that make up, say, our first and our second chakra. And if those are not saying those things energetically, because emotions are energy emotions, and these emotions stem from our thoughts, right? So if our thoughts are I'm a terrible human being, I'm horrible, I suck, I can't hold a job, no one likes me, anxious all the time, in fear, all that, everything is going to be affected with emotions that are not good feeling. And then that will produce a certain type of frequency, which then will bring in different experiences to keep on that same cycle. I hope that I was able to explain that properly. But again, we have the power to change all that. We don't have to suffer. We are meant to live life in joy. And once we harness that power through affirmations, through gratitude, through meditation, connecting to nature, eating well, sleeping well, watching our thoughts, journaling, all these, we have so many ways of reinventing and recreating our nervous system is amazing, that is accessible to us. Therefore, it does become easy to change if your life feels like it's that in alignment of like more suffering than it is joyous. Because I do experience that with my clients, and I experience that with myself, where we are in that state where you definitely feel like this ridiculous victim to life, and why is this happening to me? And when we start to understand and we reframe, okay, why is this happening for me? Why is this situation and or person trying to teach me? Is it trying to teach me that I need to love myself more? Is it trying to teach me self-worth? Is it trying to teach me that I need to be setting boundaries? Is it trying to teach me that I don't have enough boundaries? I need to raise my self-esteem. I need to change my attachment style, become a securely attached individual. What core beliefs do I need to let go? There's so many lessons. So remember that everything is always happening for you. And when you can take that from suffering to thriving, not surviving, thriving, your whole life will change. And taking a trauma and turning it into a treasure, like understanding the why. There's so much science that supports this theory now. And it's one of sure ways of changing. And like Masha Linehan says, creator of dialectical behavior therapy, we can't change anything that we're not accepting. So accepting where we are today, all of it, all the guilt, all the shame, all of the things. Don't exclude any parts of yourself. Allow yourself to feel the feelings about that experience and then let it go, and create new ways of thinking and feeling about yourself by affirming different things about yourself, by picking up the mirror and doing your mirror work and telling yourself, I love you every day, high-fiving yourself in the mirror in the morning, waking up and saying, I'm so excited for this day. I love you, self. I got you. Healing your inner child. So many different modalities. I have so many videos that are available on my YouTube channel if you want to take a look. It's just all knowledge that I'm have the opportunity to gain through my schooling experiences, and just outside of schooling, just reading and attending workshops that I am super blessed to be sharing with you. As always, with all of my love and gratitude, feel free to message me. I love hearing from you. And for those that do comment or give me ideas for future videos, I appreciate that a lot. Again, this is Anna Morfides with Bending Hearts Counseling, and I will see you next time.